Hello there, my name is Alex. I am a GM on the Thrall chapter here for the Old Gods, and we're here to show you how to use one of our recruiting add-ons to help recruit for your server chapter. As you know, as an officer, one of your responsibilities is to help recruit for your particular server, so this is a video to show you how to do just that. The add-on that I use is called Fast Guild Invite. It's located on Twitch. If this video is assuming that you have it installed. If you're not sure how to install it, I would definitely suggest reaching out to your server's GM or fellow officer. You can also reach out to me if you want on Discord. But once you do have it installed, it will appear as a little icon right over here on your mini-map. It's going to be red, and it might be a little hard to see in the video, but it's going to say FGI on it. And to open it, you're actually going to right-click on it. And it's going to open up this window here. So by default, it will usually have this invitation mode set to only invite. What you would like to do is you're going to click the little arrow and change it to send a message and invite. The next step that you want to do is adjust the level range. Defaultly, when you first install the add-on, it will have it go from level 1 to 120. What we do is we filter out the 1s through 24s. Number one, when people create new tunes and they're very, very low level, like a level 1 or 2, there's a very good chance that they may just be playing it for 5 minutes to try it out, and then they wind up deleting it. And then we skip 20 to 24 because of the new allied race feature of the game, where it has tunes like Magor Orcs, Zandalar Trolls that start at level 20. So we typically figure if, they've created the tune and they've leveled it up for 5 levels, that they're a little committed to continuing to level that tune, and we would want to bring them into the fold of the guild. So once you adjust the level range, which you can do by just highlighting over the level and using your mouse scroll wheel up or down to adjust it, and scroll the 1 to a 25 and leave the cap at 120. You can leave this on normal search, and I would check this run in background. The next step that you want to do is to go into your settings. When you click settings, it's going to open up the FGI settings window, and what you would do is you definitely want to disable sent messages. What this does is when you do send out an invite, it sends a whisper to the player, and as you know, in our general tab, all whispers will appear. This will filter those outgoing whispers out of your general chat tab, which is great if you want to read general chat, because if you don't filter them out, there's going to be a ton of whispers in there and you're not going to be able to read it. I know me personally, I don't care because I avoid general chat. Another thing I definitely suggest is creating a separate tab on your chat for whispers, because people are going to whisper you back and you want to be able to not have it get lost. So to create a new tab, you just right click on the general tab and there'll be a button that says create new window, and then it's going to ask you to enter in the chat window name. I usually name it Whisper. I'm going to hit cancel because I already have one, and then once it does, it pops right down here and you can right click on that new tab, under filters hit settings, and then you can basically uncheck everything except whisper. So this way whispers will appear in that window alone, and that you can have a separate tab for guild chat so that your guild chat does not get lost in the whispers, and that you can still be engaged with the guild while you're recruiting. And once you have that set up, I usually leave that player memorization time as 1 week. Basically memorizes that it sent an invite to certain somebody for about a week before it might do it again. If somebody gives you a bad response about, blah, 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 I don't want to join you, just throw them on ignore, and then you don't have to worry about memorization. But, some people will say, check back with me later, or don't answer you at all, then I would just leave it alone. So I usually leave the memorization time as 1 week. The next part that you want to set up is your whisper that goes out. So you click the Customize Post option, and there'll be a spot for you to paste a message. We do have it in the recruiting document. If you notice here, it says consider name in capital letters. That, when you put that in there and you hit save, it adds the message down here, but if you notice, it actually puts the name of the guild in there. And the reason that we do it, I do it this way, is we are currently 8 servers, 4 Horde, 4 Alliance, and some of our servers have the O in Old Gods has a special line through it because the other one was taken. So by doing it this way, if you are a person who does like to recruit or is willing to help recruit on another server that may not necessarily, have one or the other, you could be recruiting on a server that doesn't have the special character and one that does. This makes it where there's no guessing. It will automatically put in the correct name of the guild that you're on currently recruiting. So you paste the message into there, you hit save, and you can just verify that it, at the bottom here, it will tell you what it will send out. And then you can hit the X in the corner. You then can hit the X again, and now we're going to go through starting to scan the server for ungilded players that meet the criteria that we have done. So you hit start scan, you may have to click it twice, and then the FGI scan window will appear. It's a little box here, and if you notice, it's almost like a little progress bar, like you're downloading something. Now, this is not to say that when it reaches 100%, you should stop it. Basically, it's scanning the server for players, and when it hits 100%, it will go back and start scanning again. So if you're going to be recruiting for a little bit, you can just let this run. You don't have to pause it, anything like that. What the add-on does is, as it finds players who are not gilded, this will start to tick up, this number here. This is, so far, it has found 2 players that are not gilded. And what you can do is, by clicking this Choose Invitations button, another window will open, and it will show you, you actually can X out of the main window now once the scan is running. You can, these windows are fully movable, so you can move them out of the way so that they're not in the way of you doing, because recruiting is very easy where you can be out doing world quests and recruit. So if you notice here, it has found 5 names. So right here, it will say the first name in the list. It'll give the toon name, the level, the class, and then the race. And the reason we look at this is a couple of reasons. Reason number 1, we want to kind of monitor the names. We don't want to be recruiting any egregious names. I mean, we know people like to have a little fun with their names. We don't want anything too egregious. If you feel it's not a name that's appropriate, you can just click the reject button, and it will not send an invite or a whisper to that toon. Another thing that we look for are Death Knights that are level 55 to 59. They have a high rate of abandonment, so you probably don't want to invite them. So you can skip over those by rejecting them. And then another thing to watch out for are Demon Hunters, because Demon Hunters start out at level 98. So you can filter those out if you see a Demon Hunter level 98, to skip over that, until I would probably say about 105. And then also be careful of level 100 toons for trial characters. So if you're reviewing it and, it's not an egregious name, it's not a Death Knight in that level range, or a Demon Hunter, or a level 100 probable boosted toon, you can click invite, and what will happen is the add-on will send them a whisper and send them an invite, and, well, this person here joined. So that's great. I usually have some macros, and I will click my welcome macro and welcome them to the guild. When somebody does join, I type /guild roster, and I sort the guild roster by note, and I make sure to put their member note in, and since this is a new person, it is their toon name and then -main. Lucked out there, not always get somebody on the first shot. Okay, so then I look, and now Rec, that's not a bad name. I can hit invite. And I usually will do about 5 names. And then I can wait for them to respond, and I go off and do whatever I need to do. And keep on going and go forth. And I'm just going to let this scan run. But when I would pause it would be like when I feel, okay, I'm going to want to stop in the next, couple of minutes, so, or a little bit, or like 15 minutes, and I would hit pause and finish out the invites that I have found But otherwise, I just let it keep going and, invite people periodically, and add member notes as I go, every so often, have the member notes and add it. So that's how to use FGI to recruit for your particular server. I hope you find this video helpful, and happy recruiting.